The placement of Ketu, the south node of the moon, in the second house of a natal chart is a profound and often paradoxical position. In Vedic astrology, Ketu represents liberation, detachment, past life mastery, and the headless observer, while the second house governs wealth, family, speech, and the intake of food. When the shadow planet of letting go occupies the house of accumulation, it creates a unique karmic tug-of-war between material security and spiritual indifference. The philosophy of disconnect. Ketu in the second house suggests that the individual has already mastered the material realm in previous incarnations. Because of this soul-deep familiarity, there is often an inherent sense of dissatisfaction or even a vague emptiness regarding bank balances and physical possessions. It isn't necessarily that the person lacks wealth, many with this placement are quite comfortable, but rather that they lack a psychological grip on it. They may treat money with an air of nonchalance, either spending it impulsively or neglecting to manage it, because, at a subconscious level, they feel that material security is an illusion. Wealth and the leaky bucket effect. The second house is the Dana Bhava, the storehouse of assets. Ketu acts like a vacuum or a filter here. Financial life often moves through cycles of sudden gains and unexpected losses. There is a leaky bucket phenomenon where, no matter how much is earned, the money seems to find ways to flow out. This placement often pushes the native toward unconventional ways of earning. They may find success in spiritual fields, occult sciences, research, or roles that require them to be behind the scenes rather than the face of a corporate empire. For these individuals, true prosperity usually arrives only when they stop obsessively chasing it and instead focus on their specific skills or service. Family dynamics and lineage. The second house is also the Kutumba Bhava, representing the immediate family and upbringing. With Ketu here, there is often a sense of being the odd one out within the family unit. The individual may feel emotionally distanced from their parents or relatives, or there may have been a physical separation early in life. There is frequently a feeling that the family's values do not align with their own. While they may fulfill their duties to their kin, they do so with a sense of detachment, as if they are observing the family drama from a high balcony rather than participating in the fray. The power and pitfalls of speech. Speech is a vital second house attribute, and Ketu's influence here is striking. Ketu is the headless planet, meaning it acts without the filter of the ego-driven mind. This can manifest as a person who is brutally honest, sometimes to their own detriment. They may speak in riddles, use harsh language when frustrated, or conversely, be very quiet and contemplative. Because Ketu represents the end of things, their words can be piercing, cutting through social niceties to reveal the uncomfortable truth. Mastering the art of communication is a major life lesson for this placement. Learning when to speak and when to maintain a sacred silence is key to their social harmony. Nutrition and sensory habits. On a physical level, the second house rules the mouth and what we consume. Ketu here can lead to eccentric eating habits. The native might be prone to food allergies, have a very limited palate, or go through phases of intense fasting and asceticism. There is a risk of neglecting one's health through poor dietary choices or sensory indulgence as a way to numb the inherent Ketu restlessness. Maintaining a clean, disciplined diet is often the most effective way for these individuals to ground their flighty Ketu energy. The spiritual gift, the voice of the soul. Ultimately, Ketu in the second house is a call to find value within oneself rather than in the external world. While it may bring challenges in saving money or feeling at home with family, it grants a rare gift, the ability to see through the vanity of the material world. When the native matures, they often develop a voice that is deeply spiritual or prophetic. They become the people who can talk about the deepest mysteries of life with ease because they aren't distracted by the need to impress others with their status. Their journey is one of transforming the second house from a vault of gold into a temple of wisdom, realizing that their true inheritance is not what they own, but what they know. When Ketu resides in the second house, its expression is heavily colored by the zodiac sign it occupies. Because Ketu is a planet of negation, it often creates a sense of detachment or eccentricity regarding the specific traits of that sign. Fire signs, the burn of expression. Aries, wealth and speech are impulsive. The native may speak aggressively or spend money on sudden whims, feeling a constant flickering energy regarding their self-worth. Leo, a detachment from family legacy or royal status. They may reject the spotlight or feel that their family's pride is a burden rather than a blessing. Sagittarius, a philosophical approach to assets. They may be indifferent to traditional banking, preferring to invest in travel or higher knowledge, often treating money as a mere tool for freedom. Earth signs, the crumbling foundation. Taurus, since Taurus is the natural ruler of the second house, Ketu here creates a deep internal conflict. There is a strong desire for comfort but a karmic loss or lack of satisfaction once it is achieved. Virgo, financial life is plagued by overanalysis. The native may be hypercritical of their family or have unconventional, perhaps even clinical, views on diet and health. Capricorn, a rejection of traditional corporate structures. They may struggle with boss figures in the family or find that conventional career paths for wealth feel empty. Air signs, the wind of change. Gemini, speech is the highlight here, often erratic, brilliant, or scattered. The native may be a jack of all trades financially, earning through multiple, albeit unstable, sources. Libra, partnerships and wealth are intertwined but messy. They may feel a sense of loss through business associates or find that balancing the books is a lifelong struggle. Aquarius, very unconventional wealth. They may earn through technology, social causes, or eccentric networking, often feeling like an alien within their own community. Water signs, the dissolving boundary. Cancer, deep emotional detachment from the mother or the concept of home. Wealth is often fluctuating like the tides, and they may eat their emotions or have strange digestive sensitivities. Scorpio, Ketu is very comfortable here, often considered exalted. This brings profound intuition regarding hidden wealth, taxes, or the occult, though it can make family secrets feel heavy. Pisces, the most spiritual placement. Money is seen as entirely illusory. The native may be highly charitable or simply lose track of their material possessions in favor of a dreamlike, internal world. The transit of Ketu through the second house is a powerful 18-month cycle that acts as a spiritual audit of your material life. While natal placements define your personality, a transit is a temporary phase of intense karmic clearing. When the south node moves through this house of accumulation, it forces a shift from having to being, often through a process of shedding what no longer serves your soul's growth. The financial sieve. During this transit, your relationship with money undergoes a radical transformation. Ketu functions like a sieve. It allows essential resources to remain but lets the excess slip through. You may experience what feels like unexplained financial leakages, sudden repairs, unexpected bills, or a general sense that money is losing its tangible value. However, this is rarely about poverty. Instead, it is a cosmic lesson in non-attachment. The universe is testing whether your sense of security is built on a bank balance or on your internal resilience. Interestingly, for those who have surrendered the chase for wealth, this transit can occasionally bring quiet windfalls, money that arrives without effort because the ego was not grasping for it. The silence of the ego. The second house governs the voice, and Ketu's transit here often brings a thinning of speech. You might find yourself becoming quieter, retreating from social chatter, or feeling that words are inadequate to express your current state of mind. There is a risk of being misunderstood. Your silence may be mistaken for coldness, or your rare words may be perceived as overly blunt. This is a time to practice mauna, sacred silence. It is an ideal period for writers, researchers, or spiritual practitioners to find their authentic voice, one that originates from the soul rather than the intellect. If you find yourself stumbling over words or forgetting names, it is simply Ketu cutting the mental cords to mundane communication. Family detachment and ancestral karma. The kutumba or family unit becomes a place of significant reflection. You may feel a temporary emotional distance from your kin, as if you are viewing your family history from a clinical or spiritual distance. Secrets may surface, or long-standing family obligations may suddenly feel heavy. This transit often marks a time when you break away from inherited patterns, realizing that you don't have to carry the financial or emotional baggage of your ancestors. It is a period of unbelonging that eventually leads to a more authentic sense of self that isn't defined by your lineage. Sensory withdrawal and health. Physical health during this transit often centers on the second house domains, the throat, teeth, eyes, and digestive system. You may develop a sudden purity regarding food, finding yourself repulsed by heavy or processed items. Sensory overstimulation can become exhausting. Loud noises or bright lights might feel more intrusive than usual. This is your body's way of asking for a detox, not just of food, but of information and sensory intake. Navigating the transit. To navigate this 18-month window successfully, one must lean into the Ketu frequency. Release the grip. If a source of income dries up or a possession is lost, view it as a clearing rather than a catastrophe. Mindful consumption. Pay close attention to what you put into your body and what comes out of your mouth. Spiritual grounding. Since Ketu can make one feel floaty or detached, grounding rituals, like walking barefoot or simple breathwork, are essential to stay connected to the material plane while doing this deep spiritual work. The goal of this transit is not to leave you empty-handed, but to ensure that when the cycle ends, your hands are open, ready to receive life's next phase without the clutter of past attachments. Subscribe, like, and share.